Hello guys, it's Sarah. Hope you're doing well. Just wanted to check in. I decided to wear my wig this time because I just think it's beautiful. It looks so much like my real hair did before chemo. And I get compliments on it all the time, and people always say, how it looks so natural. So it has, I don't regret buying it because it's been nice to wear sometimes when I just don't want to be seen as, a cancer patient. And the awesome thing is, I'm not going to be needing to wear it for very much longer. Yay! I have chemo number 6 tomorrow, my very last one. Oh my gosh, you cannot believe how happy I am for that because I can get that, over and done with and start to move on and start having energy again, start feeling like exercising again and grow my hair back. So I'm really, really excited about that. I'm not looking forward to the next week or so of feeling bad, but knowing it's like the last one, I'm fine with it. I'm like, yes, it sucks, but I've done it 5 times. It's doable and I will do it again. And the interesting thing about it is when I went to the doctor, the oncologist, and got my chemotherapy training ahead of time, they told me that it would get worse and worse with each round. And by the end, all the side effects were going to be really catching up with me and I was going to feel worse. And I chose not to believe that. I think when you tell somebody something and they're expecting the worst, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I don't think it's a good practice for them to be telling you that at the doctor's office. And it wasn't true for me. The last 2 rounds, the 4th and the 5th, have been my easiest ones. And my blood counts have stayed great the whole time. I haven't lost weight. I've been able to exercise very moderately and more so these past 2 rounds. So I'm not expecting the last one to be bad at all. So I just want you to know that if someone tells you how something is going to be, you don't have to choose to believe that because everybody's different, and you can create and manifest things in your life just by believing them to be true and believing that that's what's going to happen to you. So that's one lesson. But another thing I wanted to talk about that I've been learning, and it's just kind of struck me so much along the way, because it occurred to me because I get messages from you guys all the time, and you're so sweet and you're so awesome and so encouraging, and I appreciate it so much. And people are always saying, you're brave, you're so brave. And first of all, when I was thinking about that, I was like, no, I'm not brave. I have no choice. I'm terrified. And I sure as hell don't want to be doing this stuff, but I'm doing it. But a lot of times we don't see our own good qualities, but we can see them in other people. And when I see other people posting with their cancer stories, or losing a loved one, or any challenges that they've had that they didn't choose, I think they're brave. I'm like, wow, you're so brave. You're coming through this so well. And so I've changed my mind. I've decided I am brave, and thank you. But what I want to say about that is there's 2 kinds of bravery, because sometimes it chooses you and sometimes you choose it. This instance for me obviously did not choose this, but you are brave just for managing to get through it. The other instance is when you feel the fear and you do it anyway because you want something. And even though it's terrifying, you're brave because you go ahead with it. So an example in my life was my divorce. I've been divorced about 4.5 years now. And that was super scary. I had been married for 17 years. I had 2 kids. Um, I was basically going to be starting over, but I came to a point where I did realize that this was the best thing for me, and it was the best thing for my ex-husband, and ultimately the best thing for my kids. And so I took the steps, I went forward with it. Everyone is so much better off now, and I'm so glad I did it. But I had a lot of fear in the beginning, and I was able to walk through the fire and come out thriving on the other side. And so, going through this process of cancer, I noticed that things come gradually, step by step, and that's the only way that you're able to do it as a human. So, for example, I was diagnosed. That's terrifying in and of itself on day one. And you're overwhelmed and terrified, and your brain just cannot wrap itself around that. But then gradually you do accept it. And then you look toward the next step and you go to the doctor. And then the doctor lays out this plan, and it's overwhelming because they're telling me, okay, you need radiation, then you need surgery, then you need, chemotherapy, then surgery, then radiation. And I'm like, what? And they're saying this is going to be at least a year, if not longer, of the whole process. And that was just so overwhelming. And whenever I look at the whole thing as a whole, it's like, oh my gosh, how can one, human deal with all this? So what I do is try to center myself and ground myself and focus and just look at one step at a time. So with the chemotherapy, I did my research, I figured out how to manage. They were helpful about telling me how to manage side effects, and I did a lot to manage my own, fears and anxieties with meditations and therapy and friends, and I just focused on that step. Now, I'm an anxious person. I tend to be in my head and all over the place and looking, a year down the line and freaking out about it. So this is a big challenge for me, but it's necessary, is taking it one step at a time. And now I've made it through the chemo. I feel pretty darn good. I took a 2.5-mile walk in the rain just a few minutes ago with my raincoat on. And, so I was able to get through that a lot better than I thought I could. And now I'm looking at the next step, and I'm going to try to focus on that and just try to focus getting through it. And so anytime that you have a big challenge, that's the best way to handle it, is focus on one step at a time. Because if it's a big challenge, there's going to be a lot to deal with, and it can be so overwhelming. And so if you break it down, and so what I want to say is, with the fears you have of going for something, not the things that choose you, that you don't have a choice. I'm talking about the things that you choose. For me, it was a divorce. It could be starting a new career. It could be having kids or not having kids, or moving to a new place, or, whatever it is. If fear is the thing that's holding you back, and you're not going for what you really, really want in this life and what is going to help you thrive rather than just survive, then chunking it down into these smaller, manageable steps is all you have to do. When before all this, when I was running, I used to kind of trick myself because I love to run in general, but some days I really didn't want to, and I'd be training for a race or something, and so I would need to kind of stick to my schedule. And on the days I didn't want to do it, I would chunk it down into the tiniest steps. I would say, all right, all you have to do is get on your running gear, put on your shorts, and put on your tennis shoes. And then all you have to do is walk out the door. So if all you do is walk for 10 minutes, oh well, just start it and take that first step, literally that first step. Put one step in front of the other and get yourself out the door. And 99% of the time, I would start walking, I'd start breathing the fresh air, I'd start feeling good, I'd start getting that energy and that, good mood pumping, and I would say, "Oh, well, I feel like running, I'm just going to run." And then I'd start running, and I would finish whatever, amount, whatever I had planned for that day, and then feel great about it. So, that's just another example of, if there's something you don't want to do, but it's good for you, if there's something that's fear is holding you back from, you can do it. Do that very first step. And once that's done, you build a little confidence, and then you go for the next step. Um, I have a client who had never worked out in her life. The most she would do would take like a 10 or 20-minute walk on her lunch break at work. And she came to me because she wanted to lose weight. She wanted to get in shape. She didn't know what to do, how to work out, whatever. And so I started training her. And with all my clients, I always start with this first small step. So I take them one tiny bit outside of their current level, one tiny bit outside their comfort zone. And then we build on that, and then we build on that, and then we build on that, because you can do it. You just don't know you can do it. And she was like, "Well, I'm middle-aged, it's too late, blah, blah." I was like, "No." So we started training. By the time I finished working with her a few months down the road, we were doing track workouts. She was doing sprints. She could do burpees. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's hard. She was running up and down the stadium steps, and she started riding her bike on her own. And she used to ride like a mile or two. And last time she texted me, I think she was up to like 12 miles and had increased her like speed and going on hills where she used to go flat. So anyway, I just want to say, like, whatever you want, it's not too late. If you have the desire for it, you probably have the moxie to do it. You have that ability. So don't think that you can't. And also, when people see you doing something and being successful at it, that will inspire them and give them courage to be like, "Well, she's a regular person just like I am. And if she can do this, then I can do this." So you're going to help other people. And then if they want to reach out to you, you can help guide them through it. I know that after I'm through with this experience, I'm going to be so open to helping anyone else through it who has been through it. And I've even had people, when I'm going for my chemotherapy, that are there for the first time, and they notice, that I'm bald and I have my cap on, and they'll ask me about it. And I am just like, well, I'm just like giving them so much information, because I'm just like, a lot of people helped me, and now I want to help you. So you can be a huge inspiration to others, and that just helps you feel all the better. And another thing is, when you're going through something tough, whether you chose it or not, it's really important to get support. So I'm so lucky, because I've gotten so many gifts and so many positive messages, and I want to thank all of you guys for that so much, because it's made such a huge difference. And my girlfriends have been so supportive, and I've gotten to spend so much time with them, and my family. I've seen a lot of my family. My sister came in from California. My brother comes to visit a lot from Knoxville. My mom comes all the time, and I have such a great supportive partner who, has just been so loving and supportive. I've gone to therapy, like whatever you need to help you through whatever you're going through, get it. That's, really, really, really important, and it's key. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, and I hope, that some of that will resonate with you, and you'll be able to take it with you. And, I get these messages. I'll just have a creative inspiration one day about what I want to share with other people. So I hope it's useful. I hope it's working. I hope it's doing something. So anyways, chemo tomorrow, and I have, feeling really great about it. and I'll keep you updated, and I'll be in touch soon. Love you guys. Mwah.